Hello, hello. We're just saying it's very, very humid.
My glasses keep fogging.
It's very humid. What's happening here?
Yeah.
And this storm outside. But fear not, if we lose power, it's okay because we're using a hotspot for our service today.
Maybe this is why we didn't get books today, because it's so bad out.
I don't know. We did not get a box of books today. So
Very
we have
tears.
We do actually have quite a few books that are being released today, but only a couple that we were super excited about. And we don't have that many books for next week yet either. I only have, I think, 3 adult ones. Yeah.
When the weather clears.
I have 3 adult ones and maybe 1 teen one for next week. So
that's okay. We did find a couple. We found some.
Yes, we did. Yeah. So I'm going to start with the young adult books. This first one is an anthology. It's called Everybody Shines. 16 stories about living fabulously fat.
Oh.
And so it's just all about, just like in real life, fat girls and boys and non-binary teens are friends who lift each other up, heroes who rescue themselves, big bodies in space, intellects taking up space, and figures looking and feeling beautiful. So it's just all about stories about kids who aren't like, you know, there are so many of these books, especially, I mean, maybe not recently, but like in the last, you know, previous like 10, 15 years, where it's like, she brushed her perfectly straight, naturally blonde hair and fit into her 00 jeans, you know? And it's just like kids want to see people who look like them and are unapologetically themselves. And so it seems like there's a wide variety of genres and characters and representations in this book, in all of these stories. And
just the fact that they use the word fat, I'm like, whoa! I thought that was like
people are reclaiming that word to not be negative, but just to describe what they look like, and that's perfectly the way it should be. Yeah. Like, okay, that's what I look like, and I am who I am.
Yeah.
Instead of it being negative. So this is just one of those books that's really positivity. So that's a really good one. I'm excited to go through. And then this one is called All Our Hidden Gifts by Caroline O'Donoghue. As you can see from the cover, it is about tarot cards, which are apparently very trendy again.
Yes.
They were trendy when I was a teenager, and now they're back. And it's like a little bit of a mystery. Maeve Chambers will do almost anything for attention, which is how she ends up in detention cleaning out an old closet at her school. That's where she finds a dusty pack of tarot cards, and soon she's giving eerily accurate readings to her classmates and soaking up the celebrity. But there is one classmate whose attention she can't capture, her former best friend Lily, whom she betrayed last year in an act that still makes Maeve cringe in shame. When bored classmates finally goad Lily into sitting for a reading, Maeve prays for a benign set of cards. Instead, Lily selects a card that shouldn't be there at all, and 2 days later she disappears.
Yikes. Shouldn't mess with tarot. Sorry.
Consumed by guilt, Maeve teams up with a beautiful, sophisticated classmate Fiona and sexy, mysterious Ro, Lily's older sibling, to try to find her lost friend. All 3 prove to have unnatural talents that awaken as they race against dark forces to bring Lily back before she's lost forever.
Well, first of all, where's the set? Because all the names are very interesting. Maeve, Fiona.
I know.
These are all great names.
I don't know. The author is Irish and lives in London.
I was like, I love these names.
Yeah.
So these are great. And I love the picture on the front.
The author writes for the Irish Times and the Independent in Ireland.
Just saying. Maeve.
And lives in London, so, yep.
Awesome.
Okay, so a couple of adult books. I'll start with this one really quick because I don't need to really read the description, but for anybody who's looking for a new Eve Duncan novel by Iris Johansson, The Bullet is here. We also have it in large print, I believe.
I think that came in.
So we got 2. I know everyone's always looking for those hot. I'll do the nonfiction next. This is called The Great Dissenter. This is the story of John Marshall Harlan, America's judicial hero.
I'm sorry. You know, it's like we need like trading cards. Like, who's your judicial hero? Mine is.
Who's your favorite dissenter?
John Marshall Harlan. Oh, I really want to trade it for Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but sorry.
just into this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Dissent. No one wielded this power more aggressively than John Marshall Harlan, a young Union veteran from Kentucky who served on the U.S. Supreme Court from the end of the Civil War through the Gilded Age. In the long test of time, this lone dissenter was proven right in case after case. They say history is written by the victors, but that is not Harlan's legacy. His views, not those of his fellow justices, ultimately ended segregation and helped give us our civil rights and our economic freedoms.
Oh, so he really is a hero.
Derided by many as a loner and a loser, he ended up being acclaimed as the nation's most courageous jurist, a man who saw the truth and justice that eluded his contemporaries.
I think this sounds interesting.
It does sound interesting.
I like that one.
I know.
Yeah.
Then you guys can start the trading cards.
All right, we're sure. Lawyer trading cards. They're going to be in hot demand.
Do they not exist already?
I don't know. We're going to make them. Get our Etsy shop going.
I bet somebody already has that.
Probably. I'm going to have to look it up
And
now.
if you don't, Etsy crafters everywhere. Trading cards.
Trading cards with great judicial figures.
The next one is by Lori Frankel. It's called 1, 2, 3. Lori Frankel wrote, it was really, really popular a couple summers ago. It's called This Is How It Always Is, which I read and I thought it was really great, about a family and their child was transgender, and it was just all about like the support of the family and the love, and it was really heartwarming and really nice. So I'm looking forward to reading this one as well. In a town where nothing ever changes, suddenly everything does. I don't have one of those like movie announcer voices,
Dun,
but
dun.
you're supposed to.
In a town where
In a
nothing ever
town.
changes. Something suddenly does.
Everyone knows everyone in the tiny town of Bourne, but the Mitchell triplets are especially beloved. Mirabelle is the smartest person anyone knows, and no one doubts it just because she can't speak. Monday is the town's purveyor of books, now that the library is closed.
Oh, this sounds like a tragedy.
Tell her the book you think you want, and she'll pull the one you actually do from the microwave or her sock drawer.
Okay.
Mab's job is the hardest of all. Get good grades, get into college, and get out of Bourne. For a few weeks 17 years ago, Bourne was national news when its water turned green. The girls have come of age watching their mother's endless fight for justice. But just when it seems life might go on the same forever, the first moving truck anyone's seen in years pulls up and unloads new residents and old secrets. Ooh. Soon, the Mitchell sisters are taking on a system stacked against them and uncovering mysteries buried longer than they've been alive. Because it's hard to let go of the past when the past won't let go of you. 3 unforgettable narrators join together here to tell a spellbinding story with wit, wonder, and deep affection. As she did in This Is How It Always Is, Lori Frankel has written a laugh out loud on one page, grab a tissue on the next novel, as only she can, and how expanding our notions of normal makes the world a better place for everyone, and how, when days are darkest, it's our daughters who will save us all.
Oh,
Yeah.
sounds good.
This one, I love the title of this one.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Everyone knows your mother is a witch. A novel.
A novel.
A novel.
Or is it? Is it nonfiction? Let's see.
The story begins in 1618 in the German Duchy of Württemberg. Plague is spreading.
We don't have these.
The 30 Years' War has commenced, and fear and suspicion are in the air throughout the Holy Roman Empire. In the small town of Leonberg, Katharina Kelper is accused of being a witch.
Yikes.
Katharina is an illiterate widow known by her neighbors for her herbal remedies and her successful children, including the eldest, Johannes, who is the imperial mathematician.
So boring. No, I'm kidding. The imperial mathematician.
I am the imperial mathematician. Sorry for all the mathematicians out there. And the renowned author of the laws of planetary motion. So not only are you a mathematician, that
sounds a bit like a specific.
Very specific.
I feel like that's like a real person from
Very
history.
specific. It's enough to make anyone jealous, and Katharina has done herself no favors by being out and about and in everyone's business.
Uh-oh.
So, when the deranged and insipid Ursula Reinbold, or as Katharina calls her, the werewolf, accuses Katharina of offering her a bitter, witchy drink that has made her ill, Katharina is in trouble. Her scientist son must turn his attention from the music of the spheres to the job of defending his mother. Facing the threat of financial ruin, torture, and even execution, Katharina tells her side of the story to her friend and next-door neighbor Simon, a reclusive widower imperiled by his own secrets. Drawing on real historical documents and infused with the intensity of imagination, sly humor, and intellectual fire for which Rivka Galchen is known, that's the author, by the way, Everyone Knows Your Mother is a Witch will both provoke and entertain. The story of how a community becomes implicated in a collective aggression and hysterical fear is a tale for our time. Galchen's bold new novel touchingly illuminates a society and family undone by superstition, the state, and the moral convulsions of history.
Yikes. Sounds good, though.
It does sound really interesting.
Does the author have anything else that we would know about? Is it on the back there? What is he? The name sounds familiar.
Her debut novel from 2008, Atmospheric Disturbances, and in 2014, American Innovations. They were both New York Times Best Books of the Year.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, I actually put it on my to-read list on
Sounds
Goodreads,
really good. And I love the
interesting.
cover. This kind of like plain retro looking. I like that.
I just love the title.
Yeah, I think that's great. All right, so I don't have a lot either today. I had no picture books that I was, wanting to, that I was excited about or anything. But I did get some nice new chapter books. Actually, I think all the ones I picked have to do with summer.
Oh.
I must have been on like a summer kick when I ordered these. I don't know, or maybe it's just they all come out in the summer.
Yeah.
This one is called Hazel Bly and the Deep Blue Sea. And this is about Hazel Bly. And she used to live in a perfect house with her family in California. But then a kayaking trip went really wrong, and Hazel and the rest of her family moved to Rose Harbor in Maine, which I love Maine, and the way they're describing it sounds like some of the places I've visited in Maine, very wilderness and small town, which is just beautiful, and obviously by the sea. And then she runs into, her mother runs, her mama, which is her other mother, runs into a childhood friend, Claire, and suddenly Hazel's tight-knit world is infiltrated. To make it worse, Claire has a daughter Hazel's age, Lemon, who can't stop rambling on about the Rose Maid, a local mermaid myth 150 years old.
Mermaid.
So soon she finds herself obsessed with finding, with the Rose Maid legend and finding it, and it says, this book is a poignant yet hopeful novel about one girl's journey toward healing and the people, both real and imagined, that she meets on the way. Ooh. So a summary
Mermaid
story
legend.
and a mermaid story, possibly, or is it just about the power of believing? I don't know.
We do like to believe.
Yeah, so it could just be about the power of believing.
I like that.
And this one is another fun fantasy type story. It is called Sisters of the Never Sea, and it is a modern spin on Peter Pan.
Ooh.
Yeah, so Lily and Wendy, the names, have been best friends since they became stepsisters, but now their parents are planning for the family to spend the summer apart. English-born, fanciful Wendy is going with her father to New York City. Sensible Lily is staying behind with her mother in the suburbs of Tulsa. And though they won't say it, both girls are fretting what this change means for their family, especially their little brother Michael. But little do they know, a mysterious boy has been watching them from the tree outside their window. A boy who intends to take them far away from home for good, to an island of wild animals, fairies, and kidnapped children, to the sea of merfolk, pirates, and a giant crocodile. A boy who calls himself Peter Pan. So another summer story, magical realism. So I think this is going to be really fun, a modern spin on Peter Pan. So yeah.
Very nice.
Sisters of the Never Sea.
I love retellings. They're so nice.
Yeah, and
Very
I just love when they take a story that maybe is kind of dated a little bit or something and make it fresh for kids, because the basics of the story are so great. So I think that'll be really fun. Now this book is called Res Dogs, and it is by Joseph Bruhak, who is a Native American of the Abenaki Nation, and he is a scholar and writer of indigenous culture. And this book is set in the summer, right after COVID-19.
Oh.
So, it's like
this summer.
It's now. This summer, basically. It says, Malian loves spending time with her grandparents at her home on the Wabanaki Reservation. She's there for a visit when suddenly all travel shuts down. There's a new virus making people sick, and Malian will have to stay with her grandparents for the duration. Everyone is worried about the pandemic, but Malian knows how to keep her family safe. She protects her grandparents, and they protect her. She doesn't go outside to play with friends. She helps her grandparents use video chat. Oh. And she listens and learns from their stories. And when Malsum, one of the dogs living on the res, shows up at their door, the Malian's family knows that he'll protect them too. It's told in verse, inspired by oral storytelling. This novel about COVID-19's pandemic highlights the ways Malian's community has cared for one another through plagues of the past and how they keep caring for one another today. So I think it sounds really beautiful. It's about the coronavirus, the pandemic, and about Indigenous children's lives, and I think it's a really great one.
And probably very relatable, because how many people adopted an animal?
That's
over
true.
The last
That
year?
is true. And I do love a story told in verse,
Me
and especially
too.
the idea that it's inspired by Native American oral storytelling. So I love that idea. So I'm looking forward to reading that one. It'll probably be a really fast read because it is all in verse. So there's not a lot of words on each page.
I do love verse novels.
Yeah,
though.
they
I
kind of
just love
tend
the
to
way
really
they
get to you.
move.
They really just jump in and get to you right away. So I'm excited about that one. We have 2 new graphic novels that are sequels.
I read them already.
Melissa can tell you all about them. This one is the sequel to Sheets. It's called Delicates. And I know the first one was very touching, and people really, really were moved by it. This one is the sequel, and it says, Marjorie Glatt's life hasn't been the same ever since she discovered a group of ghosts hiding in her family's laundromat. Wendell, who died young and now must wander Earth as a ghost with nothing more than a sheet for a body, soon became one of Marjorie's only friends. But when Marjorie finally gets accepted by the popular kids at school, she begins to worry that if anyone learns about her secret ghost friends, she'll be labeled as a freak who sees dead people. With Marjorie's insistence on keeping Wendell's ghost identity a secret from her new friends, Wendell begins to feel even more invisible than he already is. So just a beautiful follow-up, I think, about friendship and
It's
what's most important.
a lot about bullying too. I know. And
It's
wait, my
very
favorite. Can
beautifully
I show you my
illustrated.
favorite
Yes,
picture? Let me
let's
see if
see.
I can find it. This
It's
takes place in the
beautifully illustrated.
90s,
Oh.
so this is my time to shine.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. There's a great little Easter egg on the posters
Ooh.
on one of their walls. Let me see.
Oh,
if I
how
can find
exciting.
it.
An Easter egg. I love an Easter egg.
I mean, not like such an Easter, but like for me as
Yeah.
as a 90s kid, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I see it. I took a picture and I sent it to all of my friends.
Oh, now I gotta know what it is. It must have been a popular movie or something, right?
TV shows.
TV show.
Of my
what was popular
childhood.
TV shows in the 90s?
Nicktoons.
Nicktoons.
Nicktoons, that's what it was. It was Nicktoons.
Was it like
Where is
Buffy, or is that not? That was
Oh, yeah, Buffy was big.
Buffy. I'm trying to think what else. A lot of those witchy shows and stuff were
Yeah.
from the.
There it is.
Okay.
I got my favorite.
What is it?
Rocco and Hey Arnold.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Those are some
They're
of my
still like
favorite.
on. Well, they're probably
yeah.
in syndication now on or whatever they're playing.
Rocco
on.
and Hey Arnold. That was like my favorite. And it's a very touching moment between the main character and her younger brother. And I'm like, oh, what a touching moment. Oh, Rocco!
Got distracted. Oh, shiny thing.
Oh, Nicktoons!
Oh my goodness. So anyway, I think the kids are going to be looking for this one. Another, again, beautifully illustrated. Just a great visual story that I think a lot of kids are going to be looking for this summer. And last but not least, the third in the award-winning Tea Dragon series, the Tea Dragon Tapestry, which Alyssa also really loves. It's kind of an oversized, it's almost like a picture book-sized graphic novel. So it's definitely, really just very beautifully illustrated.
Gorgeous.
With all kinds of magical creatures. And Alyssa was explaining to me, because I didn't get a chance to read these yet, and I'm not a huge graphic. I personally don't like them. I love the kids like them, and that's great. I find it hard to pay attention without enough words. But Alyssa was explaining to me that in this story, the tea dragons make like tea, right?
So the whole
I
story
love
is
tea,
about
so.
everybody, not everybody, but in this area, the characters are kind of like herbalists and naturalists, and so they have these tea dragons, I guess, are the protectors of the tea, or they help them brew the tea. Like this is chamomile down here, and the story has a lot to do with little ginseng over here, and they protect their masters and are with them, and then this girl here, she is learning to become a blacksmith, so she has like a blacksmith
That's
sprite.
awesome.
Yes.
That's really cool.
It's pretty dang cool if you
Yeah.
ask me. There's another word I would use.
My
but
daughter
I
would
can't
love to be
use
that.
that.
That's like totally right up her.
Yeah. So it's just all of these like little magical creatures in a semi-magical world, and everybody's just so accepting and kind, and it's about, you know, family and believing in yourself and taking care of your friends and tea dragons.
It's really sweet.
And it's like a whole empire. There's a card game. There are little plushies of the tea dragons, which I would just squeeze and hug all day.
Oh, it sounds really nice, and I think that whenever you put this kind of magical stuff in a story for kids, it kind of allows them to sort of distance themselves from something that might be sad or stressful or something. You know, it allows them to kind of like live through it vicariously and go through it without being too personal.
Yeah,
and
and they're all very calm, and there are some moments that are really touching, and there are some sad moments, but nothing too heavy. Everything's very hopeful, because all of the characters in the story are just like, "Whoa, I'm here for you." And it's just really, and it's beautiful. I love the illustrations.
The illustrations are spectacular. The colors are so unusual. Just the amount of color is really unusual.
It's gorgeous.
It's really just like
I love this no outline look.
Oh yeah, that's probably why it really sticks out. Yeah,
with?
because it really there's like it's just color packed. Full on beautiful color illustration. So yeah, I think a lot of kids will enjoy this series too. Just the size is a little intimidating just because of how big it is, but bring it home, put it on your coffee table and read it. It's kind of a kid's coffee table book. And that's it.
That's what we have for today. Hopefully we get more next week.
Oh, I'll be on vacation next week, but
I'll be here.
She'll grab some new ones from my stuff too, probably.
I will be here. Yeah. Do you give me permission to unbox?
I give you permission to unbox.
You?
You can unbox without me.
We usually wait for each other to open up boxes.
You can unbox and find
but
the good ones.
I will unbox. Kathy will be excited to unbox your box too.
Yes, she definitely will.
She loves a good unboxing as well.
Yeah, all these nice new books. So anything you need, let me know.
Yeah, let us know if you're interested in any of these books or if you're looking for other titles. I know a couple of people have already called looking for titles that are coming out next week because they want to put their name on it. So give us a call. We are
open.
here.
We're back.
Yeah, we're here. Come on in.
Come on in.
Come say hello. All right. See you soon, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.